You there, Sue?
Sure am.
Great. So the last couple weeks, we first talked all about your amazing experience as an Earthkeeper in Rapa Nui. And last week, I asked you some questions that I think, even though nobody could hear my voice, they had Sue's answers. Hopefully understood what the question was. Questions both about what vortexes are and how do you feel a vortex. So why don't you tell us a little bit about if you were physically standing, let's say, for example, on our property, practice feeling what that feels like. How would they know what a vortex is when they see one or feel one?
It can vary with each person, unfortunately, but normally you will feel a tingling starting to come up your legs and in through your body. And sometimes if you close your eyes, you'll feel a swaying movement. And that's about all you're going to feel.
Yeah. And now, noticing whether it was in a male or female direction, is that important?
Vortexes traditionally spirals, and they either spiral upwards or downwards. And upwards is considered male and goes clockwise. The circles go clockwise, or the female is downwards and it spirals downwards. So if you're standing on a vortex and you pull inwards, you're on a female vortex.
So is that the same in both hemispheres? Since water doesn't operate the same way.
I can only speak to this one. So is Easter Island in the northern hemisphere or southern? I have no idea. It's in the southern. Well, it is the same, so yeah.
What about like from Mount Shasta and other northern hemisphere places, Europe?
We felt lots of them, but because we were so excited and that we kind of forgot to ask whether it was male or female. So we just felt them in the extraordinary lift in frequency.
Yeah. Why don't we
doing,
go back? Yeah. It creates a vortex in the first place.
I'm missing some of your words in your sentences, but I think you asked me what makes a vortex anyway. Is that right?
I'm going to type the words in on the comments. Can you see the comments?
No, I don't see any comments.
On the page you're on, you don't see that? Okay.
Oh, yes, it's just gone right across your face now. I can read that one. Through it. We have a yin and yang, as in traditional Chinese medicine. Yin and yang energy flows, and so does the earth. And when a yin meets a yang, a vortex will often form. Not always, but quite often.
Well, how does that relate, yin and yang versus speaking of energy lines and energy ley lines?
Ley lines are either male or female. So yin and yang is just the male and female. It's like a grid around the earth, but ley lines, as opposed to grid lines, tend to bend and move. And the ley lines actually, once they cross, if a male one crosses a female one, and that's normally the way because one's horizontal and one's vertical. So the energy in the center of the crossing will either blend together and create a little vortex, male or female, or it'll, on a rare occasion, it will not combine and it will stay male and female and have consecutive female and male rings, male, female, or clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise.
So
And that's a very rare one.
Can you give us an example? We had a big event here. How did they react when they stood on one of the rings around the vortex?
Who were you talking about? Sorry, I only got. Give us an example. This is a bit difficult. You need to fix your internet. Most people, when they, I'll just wing it. Okay, so most people, when they stand on the vortex, and we had a few of the grandmothers and people up on the weekend, and we showed them how to feel the difference in the rings, because the vortex here on my property here is male and female. So it has consecutive rings. If you right in the centre, you'll feel a bit of confusion. If you take a step outwards, you'll feel the first ring, which is always female. And when you're standing on that and close your eyes, you'll actually be pulled forwards. And you take a step backwards, and then you'll be on the next ring, and that will be a male one, and you'll be pulled backwards. Very rarely in people, they will be the opposite. Some people will get pulled forward on a male, and some will get pulled backwards on a female. That doesn't happen very often, but we had a good example of that on the weekend. It just means the person's predominant and reacting to the opposite. How do these vortex occur? I only got half the sentence.
Concentric rings versus a spiral. Separate rings. Yes.
Concentric rings are circular. They are spirals. If you put the spiral out, flatten, look at a vortex from the top or a spiral from the top, they settle down as rings.
Yeah, but most vortexes are predominantly one direction, correct?
Yes.
So how often does it occur that they are concentric rings going in opposite directions?
Very rarely. They normally mean it's a high frequency energy, and the two don't merge. That you find the male females in most major sites around the world, but then again, when we went to Easter Island, there's no rules in this game. There's just, everything's all different. But in Easter Island, it was male, and my job was to bring the female energy to it, which we did. So that will now have concentric rings of male and female.
So if I understand what you're saying, your vortex was initially created by me together.
It was initially created as a female vortex, and then on the other side, about 100 meters away, a small male vortex formed. We did most of the work on the female one because we didn't know of the male one until much later. But eventually the two drew together and created the one big, powerful one we have today.
Yeah. But for most people on their own property, it's like spiral, correct?
Yes.
So how would someone, right?
They'll feel it, like I said, they'll feel the tingling coming up their legs, and if they close their eyes, they'll be pulled either forwards or backwards, and it doesn't matter where they stand on that vortex, it will still be the one direction that they're pulled in.
Yeah. So one of the ways that we looked at finding the vortex on your property was doing some dowsing. How do you like to do dowsing?
Now, my favourite dowser is a coat hanger, which I just happen to have one here. The average everyday dry cleaning steel metal coat hanger. And I use this because it measures the interruptions in the magnetic flow. So what I do is I tune myself to the coat hanger and I ask it to show me a yes. And if I say yes, which you can't see, yes, there. I don't know if you can see that, it just turned to the right.
Now your video was frozen. At least it's frozen for me. It might not be frozen for you, but good.
Okay, so no, I've got it up high now, so they should be able to see that. So if I say show me a yes, it will automatically spin out to the right.
For you.
If I say show me a no, for me, yes. If I say show me a no, it will come the other direction. Okay, so that's how I tell if it's male or female. Now it's going to register the interruption in the magnetic field because it's either faster or it is faster than the energy around it. So it will actually, if it's a male one, it will actually go like that. Then it comes back. But if it's a female one, it'll point this way. And it's quite amazing how it always comes back to center when you finish asking it. They're very clever little instruments, these. They're very sensitive. But if it is a rare one like mine, as a male-female, it will actually spin both ways. It'll do a yes and a no. You can see there it starts to go now, yes and no.
So how can someone do this at home and not think that it's their hand turning the rod or the coat hanger?
You've got to, it's just practice. You hold it nice and loosely at the back and you just ask it questions. Say, are you going to answer my questions? And it will say yes. Or if you get a stubborn one, it'll say no. However, once you get used to the movement.
Yeah. So how does using the coat hanger differ from, say, using a pendulum or muscle testing or some of the other methods people use for divining?
Okay, well, I use the coat hanger purely because it shows me male and female as well. The pendulum will swing male or female, but pendulums are very, very easy to impose your feelings on. They will react to whatever you're feeling. Whereas a coat hanger, being metal, will react more to energies than anything else. So the dowsing rods, they come together. So again, and then separate when they're away from the lines. Again, you don't see which way the energy is flowing, whether it's a positive or a negative flow. You can ask the coat hanger to map out the line for you and say, where does the line start? And as soon as you cross it, it will turn. Where does it finish? It'll still go the same way, whichever energy the line is. Mm-hmm. So it really is a very, very handy tool. You can ask it all kinds of questions once you get used to using it, and you will get a far more honest answer than a pendulum. However, there's many pendulum users that may argue. I always find this is far more accurate. A miracle of the coat hanger. Very, very cheap.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one in their closet somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can do any...
The giant ley line coming down from Quebec down through New York State, down right past my place. I was surprised at that when I lived in New Jersey.
Why? Why were you surprised?
Realize it's all right there. And sometimes we just don't see it for a very, very long time, what's right in front of us.
We don't. And see, this is the beauty of having a little tool like a coat hanger. You can check out the energy in your house. If you think it's a good energy house, you go around and it'll always turn to the right. If you've got a little dark corner where you've got everything stashed, it'll turn to the left. So you can clean it out and then it'll tell you when it's clean.
So what about like clutter on top of things? Does it react to clutter?
Absolutely. Tells you it's clear it out. But it does react to a negative energy or a positive one. And so you can ask it all kinds of questions. So is this corner any good for growing plants? And it'll say, no. Mine just said no.
That's not good. What about all the garlic bulbs that are planted right next to it? Good. That's what it means, huh?
It means we better put them out in the garden quick.
They're just sprouting. Hopefully, it sounds like they need to be in another spot.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, this is a thoroughfare, so I suppose it might be that, but it's not. Is it good to grow plants in here? No, it's saying no. Now, one of those other plants we had died. So they're the simple things you can do to find the energy in your place. And once you find a good energy spot, say in your house or on your property, if you put your crystals on it and sit out there and meditate on it, it will actually grow, because by doing that, you're lifting your own frequency, which brings, once your frequency gets higher than the actual ley line you're on, then you will give to that line. If the line is a far greater frequency than you are, you will draw it up through your energy meridians and grow from there. So it becomes a mutual give and take.
Yeah.
And every time some new energy comes in, you are a conduit for that energy, because that is your particular energy spot, and you will feed it. When you get those tingles on your head and things and the downloads, you know you're being upgraded. You go out and stand on your little vortex and share it.
Yeah. So how much of this work you do balancing it or connecting them versus you downloading or doing something to them?
I didn't get all of that. My role as an Earthkeeper is because I also am able to hold the higher frequency energy in my aura. I can go to another vortex anywhere else, like I've been sent around the world to different vortexes that have been tainted, and I can download the clean, pure energy from here, and then I connect it back by bringing back some of the less special energy and downloading it into my vortex for it to create a link backwards and forwards to the area I've just been. And that constantly sends energy clean and then clean energy back to it.
People on live, so please, if you'd like to type in a comment and ask Grandmother Sue any questions you might have about earthkeeping or vortexes, and about using the vortexes at your own place. We've got Melissa. Oh, Melissa's on. Melissa Love is on. Hey, Melissa.
Melissa.
Let's ask Melissa if you could type in a comment and let us know if you have a vortex on your property. Been a vortex at your own property you might have a question about.
Or an energy line. I know Paul's probably worn one to the fridge.
He may not be here to defend himself. But anyway, so if somebody they've got their property, they've got something they feel is kind of a special place, what would be some
Melissa's comment on that.
vortex for them?
You might have to get a coat hanger and try it now.
Yeah.
Just let the rat bag in.
Okay, so Melissa said she doesn't have one that she's aware of. Animals sit spot
Yes, true.
and shell through to the refrigerator. That's almost like the wallabies that make a path through the woods. Their own ley lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beginning of it, Melissa, where Sue was showing how to use a coat hanger for dowsing to find the energy lines. Do you want to give us just a quick demo again, Sue, just to recap how that works? And everyone who's watching this on the replay.
Did you see that bit, Melissa, or did you just come in later?
Anyway.
Type.
That's all right. Anyway, so what happens when you feel a special energetic spot that might be a vortex? How can they tell?
With the coat hanger? Okay. Yeah, it's just by using the coat hanger when you're on a higher frequency area or a vortex or a ley line, it will swing from side to side. Okay, she came in a bit later.
Yeah.
Yep, very easy to use. You just hold the back loosely and it will swing from side to side. It'll swing right if it's a male line or left if it's a female line. So you can practice. It's just a normal steel hanger.
But you're saying it's moving, so when somebody has crossed over a magnetic energy.
A break in the magnetic line or an increase in the energy line, yeah.
Change, yes. Yeah. Great. All right, and what was the other big tip for how someone can magnify space in their home? Yeah, exactly, Melissa.
Yeah,
it's exactly like dowsing rods. Yeah.
Yeah, to find them in your home, you can actually ask your coat hanger to tell you right or left. These work better than dowsing rods because dowsing rods only cross. This will tell you whether it's a male or female or positive or negative. So if you go around your house with a coat hanger, it'll swing to the left if you've got a very negative corner or something. So you can clean it out and pop a nice little crystal there somewhere and energize it again and bring your house back into balance.
Fantastic. So if you have crystals out on a vortex, do they have to be cleansed again after and which is charging which one?
The vortex will cleanse it because it's normally of a higher frequency. If the crystal needs clearing, it will be of a low frequency. So the vortex's natural higher frequency will cleanse the crystal and upgrade it to that level. Whatever the crystal's programmed for too, that always applies. If you haven't programmed your crystal, then they'll all just vibrate at the level of your vortex, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, so any other last tidbits you'd like to share with the audience, Sue?
No, just keep your crystals out there, especially when there's new energies coming in, like your full moons and all the equinoxes, the solstices. They're always special times, and sunspots are another doozy. You often need to cleanse your crystals after a sunspot because so much stuff comes out of people and around, and they will absorb a bit of negativity. So pop them out and cleanse them again.
Yeah.
But it does pay to go through
so we'll be
and see what's possible.
Yeah, I said we'll be back next Wednesday at 3:30, and we'll post what the subject is. Oh, these aren't comparing, is that? Okay, never mind. All right. Anyway, so we'll catch you later, Helen. Glad you could jump on. We'll have to get you to watch the replay. It could be just a slow connection, and that replay will be out. If you have any questions about earthkeeping for Grandmother Sue. All right. Have a great day. See ya.
See you in January, Melissa.